Power Rangers Food Foundation, Chapter 17, Aid from the Red Cornish Ranger. Mark, Amy and Leo teleported into the apartment. Amy saw the main trio all sat at the kitchen table, looking a bit worse for wears. "Hey, are you guys okay?" Amy asked. "Yeah, you seem to have snapped us out of it, thankfully," Lucas snapped back. "Hey, you're welcome, by the way," Amy retaliated. Dante stood and walked over to Mark. "I'm sorry about all this," Dante said, extending his hand out.
"No problem. Nephis is a pain. You ain't the first team of Rangers who have been affected by her ruthless and selfish act,"
Mark responded and shook Dante's hand. "For some weird reason, you seem awfully familiar, Mark, I must say," Dante told him, scratching his head.
"I was going to say the same thing,"
Mark replied with a small smile. "So it seems like you've met most of the team, other than our computer woman CJ, Dante said, gesturing towards CJ, who was sat in her chair. "Heya," CJ said with a small grin.
"Nice to meet you,"
Mark said with a nod. "So Mark, you must be hungry. I can whip us something to eat. Stir fry or some burgers," Chloe offered.
"I kind of forgot to eat sometimes. I usually don't hang around the universes I jump into,"
Mark replied awkwardly. "Okay, that's it. I'm cooking," Chloe barked up. Then she walked into the kitchen area and started cutting onions. "How many universes have you actually been to?" Dante asked.
"Too many to count,"
Mark replied. "Have you met many Rangers?" Amy piped up.
"Yes, I have. A few Ranger teams, some lone wolves. Seen a few universes where the Rangers have been destroyed. I've also been in a universe where I died and someone took my place,"
Mark explained. "Whoa, and I thought the whole time travel thing was awkward," Lucas stated. Mark looked at Luca rather confused. I should explain that. I'm from the year 2018, Luca explained.
"That explains the Time Force powers,"
Mark stated. "Oh yeah, the original Blue Time Force Ranger is actually my dad," Luca told Mark.
"Are all of you children of previous Rangers?"
Mark asked in shock. Actually, only Luca and Chloe. She's the daughter of the yellow-white Dino Thunder Rangers, and CJ's parents are the white and yellow Ninja Steel Rangers," Dante answered.
"What about the rest of you?"
Mark asked. "Well, Leo protects a sleeping Shayla on the Animarium. Amy stole her morpher, and my sensei is actually Adam Park," Dante chuckled. "Oi, that's accidentally stole my morpher, thank you," Amy barked up.
"Seems like you have quite a team here,"
Mark said with a slight grin. Chloe cooked up some burgers and fries, and served everyone some dinner. They all ate and chatted, and the team got to know more about Mark. But time went on, and Leo had to return to Animarium, and Amy also headed home. "Hey Mark, my apartment's just outside of town. Luca can give you a lift if you want. You can at least get some rest," Dante told him.
"Thanks, but you don't have to put me up for the night,"
Mark said, feeling a little awkward. "Hey, like you said, Nephis is still in this universe, so you may as well get some rest while you can, innit?" Dante replied.
"Well, again, thank you,"
Mark said. Mark followed Luca out and they both climbed into the car. Not many words were shared between the two. Mark made a comment about how nice Luca's car was. Luca just kept looking down at the seat that Mark was sat on. Mark was unknowingly sat above a couple grand's worth in cash. Luca parked up and showed Mark the small apartment, showed his way around, and let Mark get comfortable. He then left and headed back to the dojo. The next morning came, and Luca grabbed Mark from Dante's apartment and brought him back to the dojo so the trio, Mark and CJ, could all eat breakfast. "Hey Mark, my computer is currently scanning for Nephis as we speak, but please feel free to use my computer if you need anything," CJ told Mark.
"Thanks, CJ. I may take you up on your offer,"
Mark replied. The day strolled on and afternoon crept upon us. Mark walked over to Luca and sat next to him. "Can I help you, dude?" Luca asked.
"You've been stealing cars, haven't you?"
Mark barked in a hushed tone. "What are you talking about?" Luca asked bluntly.
"Son, I met your dad. Or a version of him, shall we say. I know you have his little device that unlocks vehicles. I also know that car you drive is stolen. Guessing the team never goes into your car,"
Mark said to Luca. Luca looked down at the floor, then nodded slightly.
"What were you thinking? You could have got yourself into trouble,"
Mark snapped. "Sometimes it's easier to escape the reality that I'm in, okay? I'm a nobody here. I only have this life by flipping chance," Luca sighed.
"The Morphin Masters picked you to be the next Time Force Blue Ranger. And that was not by chance. You need to get this sorted. You need to protect not only yourself, but the team. Think of CJ or Amy.
Mark told Luca. Luca looked at Mark, sighed, then nodded. Guys, CJ called out. Everyone then got up and surrounded CJ and her monitors. The screen showed a two-horned monster, which had body parts resembling kitchen utensils, mostly a blender. Guys, this monster's really like an org, CJ told them, slightly confused. Doesn't matter what it is, we'll take care of it, Dante said with a grin.
I would like to offer my aid. You guys have been so nice, and you've been helping me with Nephis. I'd like to return the favour,
Mark told Dante. Dante looked at Chloe and Luca, who both nodded at him. I'd rather not drag Amy out of school again, and Leo shouldn't really leave Shayla for so long, so yeah, okay, we'll take you on that offer, Dante said with a grin. The trio and Mark teleported away, leaving CJ alone in the apartment. They teleported in, and the Blender org turned to face them. Ooh, friends, the Blender org called out. More like your clean-up crew, Chloe snapped back. Alright guys, let's get this over with, Dante called out, revealing his power morpher. It's morphing time, Mastodon, Dante called out, holding out his power morpher. Time for Time Force, Luca called out, then pressed his chrono morpher. Dino Thunder, power up, ha! Chloe called out as she opened the mouthpiece on her dino morpher, then pressed the button.
Chrono Bisficken,
Mark called out and held out his Cornish power morpher. Then they morphed, and the black Mighty Morphin Ranger, the blue Time Force Ranger, the yellow Dino Thunder Ranger, and the red Cornish Ranger all dropped into their fighting stances. Ooh, colourful, the Blender org yelled out. Then the four Rangers charged at the org. The red Cornish Ranger summoned his power bow and started shooting arrows at the org. Then the blue Ranger slid across the ground, slide-kicking the org in the legs. The org swung the blender-like hand, both blender blades now rotating at high speeds, hitting the Time Force Blue Ranger in the chest, sending him flying backwards. He was caught by the Yellow Ranger, and she placed him on his feet. The Yellow Ranger then pulled out her battery grips, and the red Cornish Ranger swapped the power sword for Saba, and both of them ran at the org, slashing the monster several times. The Black Ranger jumped over the monster as he stumbled backwards. He landed behind it, he roundhouse kicked it in the back, then summoned his power axe, and slashed the monster in a X formation. Then the red Cornish Ranger swung Saba at the same time. The Black Ranger swung his power axe, the monster getting sandwiched between both slashes. The red Cornish Ranger jumped back and summoned his power axe and switched it to blast mode. He then took his aim. The Yellow Ranger flew down at the org but was swatted back as the org shot out several small blender blades at her, knocking her out of the air. The red Cornish Ranger took his shot and hit the org dead on, making it stumble back even more. The red Cornish Ranger then summoned the power sword and ran at the org, slashing the monster several times before stabbing it in the chest. He then switched it to the power daggers. He ran up the monster's chest and kicked off the monster and threw the daggers down, hitting the monster in the chest with both blades. The Blue Ranger then ran at the monster, striking it with his chrono blades. The Yellow Ranger landed in front of the org and punched it several times before roundhouse kicking it. The Black Ranger then jumped up high as he could, and as he landed he swung the axe down, cutting hard across the monster. The monster stood there. Is that all you've got? The org asked.
No, but this is...
The red Cornish Ranger replied. The org turned around to see him holding all 5 main power weapons combined into the power cannon.
Power cannon! Fire!
The red Cornish Ranger called out, and the big energy blast fired from the large cannon and hit the org. The monster fell and exploded into nothing. The Rangers grouped up and cheered. Nice going, man! The Black Ranger cheered at the red Cornish Ranger.
Why, thank you.
The red Cornish Ranger responded. All the Rangers high-fived each other. But then, before anyone could demorph or celebrate, a blue blur flew past them and attacked all 4 Rangers, knocking them all off their feet. Then stood slowly. As they stood, they watched as the blue blur became Nephis in her Ranger form. She stood there next to a one-horned monster and 2 ugly misshapen monsters. Hello, Rangers, the one-horned monster called out. The Rangers all looked at each other rather confused. Guys, I'm getting a huge power spike. That one-horned monster is a Duke Org, insanely powerful, and the other 2 seem to be mutants, CJ's voice said. An Org and 2 mutants, the Black Ranger said out loud.
Really, Nephis? You have to stoop so low that now you're working with an orc and 2 mutants?
The red Cornish Ranger yelled out. This is no ordinary Duke Org. The Royal Blue Ranger chuckled. Please, Nephis, wait. I want to see if they can figure it out on their own. The orc sneered at the Royal Blue Ranger. Do we know you or something? The Blue Ranger asked cockily. You could say that, yes. The orc laughed. The Black Ranger took a step forward and looked at the orc. Then he noticed something. The small ring of crystals on the top corner of his chest. A small circle made of multiple small crystal shards, each one a different colour. But there was a gap between two crystals, indicating that one was missing. The Black Ranger's mind started a race. Then it hit him. The orc that stood before them has stood before them before, but not as an orc. Not only that, but they have fought before. It can't be. Can it? The Black Ranger gasped. What? The Yellow Ranger asked.
You actually know who this is?
The Red Cornish Ranger asked him. It's Lucicon, the Black Ranger growled. What? But that's impossible. We defeated him, the Yellow Ranger gasped.
A big evil, I presume?
The Red Cornish Ranger asked. Yeah, he's tough, and he's collecting powers from previous rangers, for some reason, the Black Ranger explained. Finally, you figured it out, Lucicon howled in glee. How are you an orc? The Yellow Ranger asked. Lucicon pointed to his crystals embedded in his chest. Each one is a new form, a life after death, Lucicon told them. Why are you here, Lucicon? Why now? The Blue Ranger roared. Well, you have something I want, Lucicon replied. And something I want, the Royal Blue Ranger responded, butting in. Oh yeah? And what's that? What could you two possibly want? The Black Ranger asked. I want you, Dante. You're unique and powerful. You have two powers, which isn't rare, but to share them simultaneously, being able to swap between them, that's unheard of. And I want it for my own, Lucicon demanded.
What's he talking about?
The Red Cornish Ranger asked, confused. And I want that file off your computer, the Royal Blue Ranger snapped. Why would we help you? The Blue Ranger chuckled confidently. Yeah, and you need Adam to get in that file anyway. The only way to unlock it is Adam, the Yellow Ranger said. It's funny you mentioned that. You see, Dante, you hand yourself over willingly, and I shall release Adam, Lucicon replied. What? The Black Ranger snapped back. He's clearly yanking your chain, dude. Come on, the Blue Ranger barked. Lucicon held out his hand, and suddenly a white glowing pod formed above them, floating in the air. Inside the pod was a sleeping Adam Park. Retrieve that file, and surrender Dante, and he's free. Free to where he came from, the Royal Blue Ranger laughed. The Black Ranger demorphed, and Dante stood there and took a deep breath. The Red Cornish Ranger placed his hand on his shoulder.
Are you sure about this?
He asked Dante. I am, he said, under a slight breath. Then the Red Cornish Ranger let go, and Dante pressed his communicator. Hey CJ, transfer that file to a USB drive, and send it over, Dante commanded. That's gonna take a couple minutes, CJ responded. Just get it done, Dante replied. Then Dante walked up to Lucicon and dropped to his knees. Good boy, Lucicon growled. Lucicon laughed. His mutant generals joined in. The three rangers stood there confused, worried and unsure about what the next move would be. In the place, that time and space, William Cranston placed the Red Cornish chess piece next to the Future Foundation set and moved Lucicon's chess piece one step forward. He then placed the chess piece representing Nephis next to Lucicon. Sir, is everything okay? You seem rather quiet lately, the knight asked. Oh yes, I'm fine. I've been planning. I've got lots of planning to do. Got to make sure everything goes swimmingly now, don't I? For the next phase. William responded. What does that inquire, sir? The knight asked. William walked over to the table, leading the knight to a rather large table hidden under a black cloth. With one fell swipe, he removed it to reveal a slightly larger chessboard, but instead of the usual black and white squared board, it was the picture of a globe. It also had several black pieces on the board already. The chess piece, each representing something different. The chessboard itself had the numbers 2118 carved into the edge of the board. This world is very unique, and has already been taken over by evil, on a global level. But things, in due time, will change, William explained with a slight chuckle.
you enjoyed this episode, why not check out the rest of Power Rangers Future Foundations on Tiger Tales, produced by Ty Tiger, one of the 3 Ranger Bros.